Hey y'all, my name is Kayla and welcome to my cozy catty corner of the internet. In today's video, we are going to be delving into some classics. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like classics is such almost a dated term. Like, what is even a classic nowadays? There's like modern classics now. So it's like, what is a classic? What does that actually entail? Like, you type in classics on Google and it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's different every single time. But anyways, this is a part of a video series where I am reading books from specific genres and giving my 2 cents about the books from those genres. One thing I do want to note is that this video is just me talking about the books. There are no vloggy bits. There's no B-roll shots, nothing fancy or aesthetic like that. It's just Kayla giving her 2 cents about a book as she's reading the book. And in today's video, we will be talking about these 3 classics. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you determine that these are classics. We're going to be delving into The Birds by Daphne du Maurier. We are going to be delving into Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I think that's his name. And then we're also going to be reading The Call of the Wild by Jack London. But with all of that noted, let's just hop straight into the book, shall we? Y'all, I just finished The Birds by Daphne du Maurier, and I feel so confused. Like, I don't love the way it ended, but I don't hate the way it ended. But also, I just have so many questions. Like, I feel like this is a story I have to reconsume, but I also don't know if I want to take the time to reconsume it, like, right this very moment. I feel like I missed something. Why are the birds, like, did we ever discover why the birds are doing what they're doing? Also, it's been ages since I've seen the movie The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock, so I'm not even sure, like, what, I don't even know. I don't even know. Anyways, I'm confused. That's the moral of this story. I'm confused.
If you watch my fantasy and horror reading vlogs, you would have seen that at the end of every book section, I did a pretty in-depth analysis of my rating of that particular book. I think this particular genre, or this set of books, spoiler alert for the entire video, overall a type of writing style that I don't actively engage in, so you might hear some consistent repetitive notes, but I think you should still continue watching because there are some, it'll get a little more in-depth than specifically The Birds. We're starting slow, giving you a little lob, a little softball moment, okay? When it comes to The Birds, if you don't know, The Birds by Daphne du Maurier is actually a short story. It's something that oftentimes, at least in America, it slid in to one of your literary textbooks. And it's so interesting that The Birds is a short story because it, does kind of feel that way. There isn't really like a beginning, middle, and end. It's just kind of like this story of these birds attacking this coastal town line. As I noted earlier, you are just kind of left in almost a fade to black type situation. I think it would have been really great to see Daphne du Maurier expand on it more, but maybe that's also why this short story lent itself so well to Alfred Hitchcock taking it, revitalizing it, and making his own story because of how very vague and non-committal almost the book was. It was an interesting experience, especially as someone who reads, for the most part, full-length novels, to read this short story and just feel like I got nothing out of it. That was my experience with The Birds. I'm not sure how I feel about it overall, which is kind of why I'm not doing the analysis with the rating structure for the classics, is because I just left most of them feeling, I will not be rating The Birds. But with that noted, let's hop into our next book.
Y'all, I'm currently listening to The Call of the Wild, and I swear to little baby Jesus, if Buck dies at the end of this book, I can't have another Old Yeller. It can't happen. Like, I need a happy ending from this book, and I am petrified that we're not going to get a happy ending. Or, if he does die, I want it to be like he lived a happy life. He didn't live a happy life, but like his end years were good to him. That's what I'm hoping for. I can't have him like tragically pass away. We need like he just peacefully passed in his sleep. I can't. I have 20 minutes left of the audiobook and I'm terrified that he's gonna like be brutally murdered by a bear or something.
Now, for Call of the Wild, unlike The Birds, I actually really enjoyed this. I will note it did take me some time to get into it, and I think something that Call of the Wild had that The Birds didn't is that it had personality and character. One of my favorite classic authors is Jane Austen, and I actually want to use Northanger Abbey as an example, because if you didn't know, last year I read Northanger Abbey, and I hated that book. I was not a fan of Northanger Abbey at all, but I will say that typically if I complete a book that I don't like, it's because I was actively engaging with the text. It was almost more like a hate read, or I just kind of wanted to see how things ended, so I finished it. And that's definitely how Northanger Abbey was for me. And again, I love Jane Austen and I love her writing style. For me personally, Northanger Abbey's issue was the characters and their personalities as a cast, but Jane Austen's writing has personality, it has spunk, it has these zings and one-liners that you're like, ooh! Like, even though it's written in a more classical prose, in today's day and age, you can read a one-liner and just be like, oh, burn, you know? That's the type of writing style I have always liked, whether it's modern day writing, whether it's classical writing. I have always appreciated just personality, and you can tell that there is personality in the characters, in the story, in the setting. That's what I love. And that's, first off, what I didn't get from The Birds. I know I keep going back to The Birds, but I didn't get from The Birds, but I did get it in Call of the Wild. Oh my God. Literally, I was crying while reading that book. Buck, precious Buck. Oh, spoiler alert. Buck has a happy-ish ending. Unfortunately, towards the end of his life, he did find someone who loves and appreciates him, but it took a while for him to find that person. And unfortunately, that person did pass away. And the reason the title of the book is called The Call of the Wild is because Buck just integrated himself into a wild pack of wolves, and he lived the rest of his life with his wild family, and it was really sweet. It was like I was sobbing when his owner died. I wouldn't even say owner, when his person died. It was just like, oh, just this lovely kind of like he became the wild. And I loved it. I loved it. It was so cute. But yeah, that's what I will know about The Call of the Wild, is that it had personality, it had character. So yeah, The Call of the Wild by Jack London. It was a good one. I personally enjoyed it.
Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think A Brave New World is for me. I don't know if you'd be surprised to know, but my brain, it doesn't, math and sciences, like those arenas of the world do not compute. Like, do I find it fascinating and interesting? Absolutely. I loved biology. Like, I loved those things. I found them fascinating, but my brain just doesn't compute them. Like, I'm sitting going, oh my God, this is so intriguing. But like, it's in one ear and out the other if I'm not feverishly writing notes. So all of that to say, A Brave New World starts out very heavy in the science realm. Like, we're talking about eggs splitting or multiplying, something like that. And I'm just like, I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to, like, I don't know. I'm gonna try and give it like more time, because if this is just like chapter 1, or if it's just sprinkled throughout, that's fine. But if this is all heavy in that arena, yeah, I don't know if this book is going to be for me. But we shall see, I guess. Okay, y'all, this book is getting
interesting. So we're finally out, well, we're out-ish of like the scientific explanation of how humans are now created. So far, the gist is that humans are no longer created through sexual intercourse. They're literally like manufactured and raised by the state in these like laboratory study situations. And literally, as the children sleep, they listen to these recordings that pretty much tell them everything they need to know. And the one that's currently playing for them is pretty much creating prejudice towards the other sex. So there's like different sects of people. There's like the betas, the alphas, the epsilons, so on and so forth. From my understanding, epsilons are like the lowest tier you can be, and they wear black. Who would dare wear black? And then like the betas wear gray, I don't know. I don't remember everything. It's literally telling me it right now. This book is wild. The funny part is they were talking about how humans used to be created. It's like, oh my God, we can't even like talk about how humans used to be created. It's so disgusting. So yeah, this is an interesting book. The wild thing though, I don't know, with the way things are going in the world, maybe humans will just be created out of labs moving forward. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so far this book is interesting. I'm curious to see what route it goes down, because currently we kind of have like this narrator, and then we have a guy, pretty much a teacher or instructor, giving us a tour of the facilities that raise the children. And so I'm just curious where we're going, what we're doing, who we'll be hanging out with and seeing. But yeah, as of right now, I do not think I am going to be DNFing this book yet. Wait, now I'm so confused because everyone was like so disturbed that people used to be created by sexual activities. But we just got to a sequence of events where it's like encouraged for children to engage in erotic play, whatever that means. And the director was just like, oh yeah, did you know that once upon a time it was actually discouraged for children to do such things and it was considered immoral? And I'm like, but people are losing their marbles over the fact that humans used to be created through erotic play. And also like this little boy was just like taken away to psychology or whatever because he didn't want to engage in erotic play. It's what the fuck is this book? Okay, y'all. I don't know about Brave New World. The funny thing is I've seen so many people say like, oh my God, this is such an amazing book. It's such an amazing story. It's like amazing. Like you have to read it. But I'm bored. Like I get where this could be going. And it started to pick up pace and I was like, ooh, this is actually interesting. I'm kind of actually really enjoying this. I feel as though every other chapter I'm bouncing back and forth between I want to set this fucking book down and this is an interesting storyline. Now, when I'm thinking this is an interesting storyline, it's not like I am absolutely blown away. I'm just like, I'm curious where this is going. Like that's how I'm feeling. That's how I've been feeling anytime I'm like slightly interested. The moments where I'm like, I want to put this book down are a lot stronger than the I'm slightly curious where this is going. I believe I left off yesterday at like 36%. The chapters themselves are a little lengthy, not like super long, but they're like decent sized chapters. So I think I'm either going to give it a few more chapters or I'm going to give it to 50%. And depending on where I'm feeling at the 50% mark is really going to determine what I do with this book. Because right now I'm just, it's like meh. It's meh. It's feeling meh to me.
Beating it out with hands on the buttocks in front. 12 pairs of hands beating as one, 12 buttocks slabbily resounding. I hear him coming. And final consummation of solidarity, the coming of the 12 in one. Orgy! Porgy, it sang. Orgy, porgy, Ford and fun. Kiss the girls and make them one. Boys at one with girls at peace. Orgy, porgy gives release.
Y'all, this book is like straight up just erotica. Like every 5 seconds we're talking about sex. We're talking about erotic child play. We're talking about he's coming. There's cymbals crashing. Oh my God. There was a dude, he said he's coming, but he wasn't actually coming. mean, I get why everyone back in the day were like, oh yeah, this shit slaps. But like, if you read this recently, what I have so many questions.
When I last updated you, I said I was probably around the 36% mark. No, I was more like the 26% mark. With that noted, I am so utterly bored with this book. So now that I've made it to the 36% mark, I'm not going to torture myself anymore to get to 50% to see if it gets interesting. So we're just DNFing this book. We're calling it a day. Here's the thing. This book reminds me of like the type of book I would have had to read for school. Now, don't get me wrong. Some books that you read for school are interesting. But I would say like across the board, they're just kind of like... And I'm sure, like, at the end of the day, this book probably would have had, like, some phenomenal, amazing self-realization. Like, I see the direction that this book is going in. I see the direction that Brave New World is going in. I see it. I can see it for me. And I have a general idea of what potentially is going to happen down the road. I do not care enough to hang around and find out. So... we're DNFing it. This is not me saying it's a bad book, okay? This is just me saying that this book in particular is just not meeting my taste preference. It is boring. I'm just like so over all like the weird sexual, like don't get me wrong. I love sex. I love smut in my books. But these are just like weird sexual innuendos that are kind of like stepping around it. Like they're referring to it a bunch, but they never actually say like, you had sex. Like, the craziest thing that's happened so far, aside from the child erotic, whatever that is like the dude just fondled her boob in their car ride or their jet ride. I don't know. It sounds like they have, like, Jetson-style vehicles in this book. But yeah, he just, like, fondled her boob. And now he's mad about the fact that they, like, slept together. It's so weird. Guys, okay, if you read A Brave New World, please let me know your thoughts and opinions. Please. Please, I need to know. So, because I'm DNFing this book, I'm not going to rate it. We're just going to mark it as an L and call it a day. Okay. So, I am currently reading Out of the Silent Planet. And it's a book written by C.S. Lewis. If you don't know who C.S. Lewis is most well known for The Chronicles of Narnia. This is a science fiction book. It's about this dude. I don't know if he himself is a scientist or an academic, but he is going through this town, walking along, trying to find a place to stay. And this one lady is like, hey, if you can, like, bring back my husband, he's at this one place, bring him back and you can stay here for the night. Dope. I will do that. So he goes to the place to pick up the husband to bring him back. Also, the husband, like, works at this place, but he has cognitive mental disabilities. The book is of its time, so it uses words that are not kosher in this day and age in regards to this husband character who is around for like 0.2 seconds. So we don't really need to know about him, but just so you know. So our main character, Ransom, I believe his name is, he shows up to this place where apparently there are some scientists and they're like, yeah, we'll let this dude go, but you should hang out, stick around, have dinner. You can stay with us. No worries, no problems. So he's like, okay, cool. And he's like, let me just take this guy home because his wife was very adamant on like, I will bring him home. So let me just take him home. And then, yeah, for sure, we can kiki all night long. That doesn't end up happening. They do let the dude go on his merry little way back to his wife, but they're like, no, it's fine. He can go home by himself. It's fine. You can walk him to the gate if you want, but like, come back inside. It's fine. It's all kosher. They drug his ass. Okay? He gets drugged. And then he wakes up on a spaceship. And we're at a point where we've spent 28 days flying to this planet. On his travels, he overhears a conversation between his two captors. One of them, he only hears one side of the conversation. one of them, he's not hearing anything. But the side he does hear sounds like they might be using him as a sacrifice, or they might be using the aliens as a sacrifice. I'm not sure. They mentioned someone is a brute. Don't know if it's Ransom or if it's the aliens on the planet. But they land on the planet. And as soon as they get to the planet, shit goes south real fast. We see the aliens. There's some commotion going on. And Ransom takes this chance to run. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, what would you do in that situation? You've been flown 28 days in space. You arrive to this planet unknown. And you're just, I don't know. I feel like I would kind of stick around with the captors. Because how else are you going to get home? Like, if you have intention to get home, granted, also, it will potentially, he's a sacrifice. So who knows? I don't know. What would you do in that scenario, though? I'm intrigued. Like, he literally just bounced, just separated from them, and is walking around on this unknown planet. And I'm just like, huh, that's so interesting. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Y'all, I have to be so totally for real with you right now. This book is not my cup of tea. Just over 50% of the way through this book, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna DNF it. I am catching moments of like, oh, this is really interesting. And there hasn't been a single point where I'm all like, this book is boring. But there have been moments where I'm just all like, I feel like I blanked out for 10 minutes there, you know? While this book is not my typical cup of tea, it's interesting to like delve into genres that I wouldn't typically delve into.
So I wanted to throw Out of the Silent Planet into the pot because while yes, it is a science fiction, I felt like it kind of read the same as The Birds, as Call of the Wild, as Brave New World, where it did have that kind of classical writing style. So I thought it was kind of like a classic sci-fi, if you will. And again, it is written by C.S. Lewis, and you could tell it's written by C.S. Lewis because, oh my god, the God and heaven analogies in this book that's about aliens, man oh man, was he laying it on. That's why I wanted to include Out of the Silent Planet into it. I think my biggest issue with this is that the beginning had such a good hook. I was really captivated. I was like, this guy, he's going to this house. You could easily tell that the way these two scientists are talking to him, they're gonna do something questionable. So I was hooked from the beginning. We get on this spaceship, we fly off to this planet, we land on this planet, and Ransom then runs away from his captors and meets an alien. That whole section was great, amazing, fantastic. Everything after that section, I was just kind of like, because the middle section was him meeting aliens, learning how to communicate with the aliens of the planet and all the different species of aliens on the planet. And that part, I was just kind of like, I don't know. It just wasn't scratching an itch in my brain. Then we get to the end where we meet the alien, the god-like character in the book. By that point, you kind of got that this was really heavily a human and god reference that, for me personally, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I had spent so much of like the middle section being uninterested in what was going on that once we got to a portion where it was like, this isn't my cup of tea, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. I did find actually the ending part of it interesting because, spoiler alert, Ransom is actually allowed to travel back home to planet Earth, and yeah, he just lives out the rest of his days on Earth as a professor. And it's really interesting because it's also interesting that he lived out the rest of his days on planet Earth because like there was this conversation between him and the god alien where it sounded like potentially, possibly in the future, like he would come back to, oh my god, I just got the reference. He would come back to the planet, and I'm like, oh my god, he'll come back to the planet heaven when he dies. yeah, that's my breakdown of Out of This Island Planet. It was just like, not for me, but also I think I discovered throughout this whole video that when it comes to classics, I really need personality, but not only personality, but topics that I am interested in. So if you have been watching my videos for a while and you know the type of genres I like, I would say I really love thrillers. I love something that's high suspense, or even like a murder mystery solve a whodunit situation, or even like classic horrors. I've never read Frankenstein, I've never read Dracula, I've never read any of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, nothing like that. So if you guys know of any classics that kind of fall in my general preferences, let me know. I would gladly check them out.
Anywho, y'all, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and checking out these books. I don't know. Maybe classics just aren't for me. Call of the Wild was probably my favorite. And even that one, like, took a while for me to actually get into and actually appreciate and enjoy. Obviously, we all know I DNF'd Brave New World. That was just such a weird book. It was so weird. Like, truly, genuinely, if you guys like that book, let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to spoil that book for me, actually, because I truly went into that book knowing nothing about it. I just had seen so many people talking about the book saying, oh my god, this is the best book ever. And I was just reading it. I'm like, why the fuck are people, like, is everyone on something? Because this book is absurd. It's so obtuse. It's ridiculous. Oh my god, I couldn't stand it. But with all that noted, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one.